Guys, we got my buddy's 04 Duramax here, and we're going to be rebuilding the front end on it, including upper and lower ball joints, inner and outer tie rods, idler arm, and pitman arm. I'll show you what's going on. As you can kind of see, he has cupping going on, alignment issues with his tires. And as you can see, watch right in here, his inner tie rod. There's a ton of play going on. And then if you focus in on the upper ball joint here, I'll show you how much plays in that. So we're going to replace in all that today. And we just ordered all new move parts, ball joints, tie rods, and the rest. So we'll get started. You get your tire off and it's all jacked up. I got on jack stands. And I got a jack underneath the control arm for right now. We're going to take the whole steering knuckle off, so you need to take off your caliper, and then you'll have to take off your caliper bracket. But for the caliper, it's going to be 18 millimeter. Your caliper up and just kind of set it up here. We're going to tie that off here in a little bit. Just don't let it dangle by the brake line. Once you get your caliper off, take your pads out. Next you want to do the caliper bracket, and that's going to be a 20 millimeter. Get those off and then pull your caliper bracket off. And next we can pull the brake rotor off after you get this pin off here. Once you get the locking tabs off, you can go ahead and pull your brake rotor off. And next we'll take this hub cover off. Just get a small flat head. Pop that off. Next thing you want to do is take out your ABS speed sensor, and that's going to be a 5 Allen head. Let's go ahead and take that out. And while you're at it, take off this tab on there, and this should just pop out of here. Your speed sensor. Clean all the crap out around it. And that pops out. And then just kind of get that out of the way. And now that gives us access to this bolt here for our brake line. So we can take that off. That's going to be a 10 millimeter. Okay, once that's out, now we can get this brake caliper out of the way. I'm going to tie it up here, but let me just set it here for right now, just so it's not dangling. I think we can just leave that attached, because we just got to take off this whole steering knuckle. Alright, so I just took some heavy duty zip ties and zip tied the brake caliper up to the sway bar for right now to get out of the way. So next we're going to do is we got to get this outer tie rod end off of the steering knuckle. So just take your 21 millimeter, loosen this up, and you don't want to take the bolt all the way off, just part way off. Take your mini sledge and you're going to hit right here on the steering knuckle, and hopefully that'll break it loose. See, just break it loose like that. Take your nut off, and we'll just kind of push that. So now that's out of the way. All right, next you're gonna take off this bolt here that goes to the CV. I'm not gonna take it all the way off, just gonna loosen it up, and it's gonna be a 35 millimeter. You'll probably have to use an impact on this. So I just unscrewed this, but it's still on there. Take your 18mm for your upper ball joint, and I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up. That should be enough. If it starts turning on you, there's a spot for an Allen head. You can stick an Allen head in there to get it loose. Then take your mini sledge and just pound on the steering knuckle again. Either side will work. There you go. That popped loose. So we'll go ahead and take that off all the way. And see, now it started turning on me. So let me get an Allen head. I had to use an Allen head. It's going to be a size 6. Stick in the bottom of the ball joint here. And to unscrew it the rest of the way. Once you get that nut off, and then you just pull that out like that. But I'll leave it for right now until I get this bottom ball joint broken loose. Okay, guys, so on the bottom, you're going to use a 24mm. I already got that one loose. Take your sledge, pound on that, and that already broke loose. So now the bottom ball joint's broken loose. So you take that off. Take out your nut for the CV axle and the thrust washer here. And then just give your axle a little tap. And then you can take off this upper ball joint nut. And I forgot to say, you should make sure you got your lower control arm still jacked up, holding that. And then pound out your CV axle. So try and get your arm off here, or your steering knuckle, I mean. Once you get that off, and as you can see, this ball joint was just totally shot. Nothing left of it. Bottom one's pretty much the same thing, just so much play in it. So next we'll get the ball joint press, and we'll press them out of the control arms. Or the ball joint press here, you're gonna have to figure it out, but you got to use all kinds of different adapters. Looks like this one's gonna work. So it's gonna push the ball joint up into this little sleeve here, and then you'll just start cranking on it. Hopefully it'll break loose. Maybe. You should feel it get a little easier. You can see it going up, so yeah, it's broke free now. Pull all this off. And there's your ball joint. As you can see, this one is pretty much done. So, got my press all set up. I had to lower the jack off the lower control arm so I can get this axle out of the way. And use different adapters. I'm going to try to go straight on the ball joint, see if that works. And it looks like it came out a little bit. Okay, so I got it pressed out maybe halfway or 3/4, and it won't go anymore. It just keeps sliding off the ball joint. I can't figure out any other adapters. So I'm just gonna stick a socket down here, try beating on it with a sledge to see if I can get it to come out. There we go. So there's your lower ball joint. As you can see, that one was pretty shot too. So now we'll get new ones installed and take a look. So I got my new lower ball joint in, my press setup. You want to make sure there's like a little indentation on the lower control arm on the back side here, and that's for your greaser. So you want to make sure that you line the ball joint up so the greaser fits in this little indentation there. So I'll go ahead and start tightening this. Use my cheater bar, makes it a lot easier. Should be about good there. Let me pull it off here. Maybe. So it looks like that's in. And then as you see right here, this is that indentation I was talking about. So your greaser can screw in there and you got room to get it in there. So and that looks good. So now we'll move on to the upper one. My upper ball joint all set in. Again, you have to use your own judgment on the spacers and that. So I'll go ahead and start. That should be good. Then once you get that in, I'm going to show you on here, when you put it in there, they call this an alignment mark, I guess. It's just a little dot, and it's supposed to go parallel with the drive shaft. So make sure this dot is pointing outward on there. So I mentioned that these new Moog ball joints have a snap ring, and the OEM ones didn't. And the snap rings just click on the bottom down here. Alright guys, so once you get the ball joint in, grab your steering knuckle, throw this back on there. Okay, so got the steering knuckle back on. You're going to want to torque the bottom ball joint to 94, it says, and then the upper ball joint castle nut to 50. So once you do that, you can start putting everything back together. Your speed sensor, brake drum, and all that, or your brake rotor. And I'm going to also be replacing this tie rod end, but I'm going to create a different video on that, so be sure to watch for that. So yeah, I'll get everything put back together, and you also want to make sure you grease up the new ball joints as well, because they come with a little factory grease, but you should probably put a little more in there. So.